Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Monday, October 20, 2025. And in the news this evening, policeman facing charges after being held with imitation gun. A member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is facing charges of reasonable suspicion of simplicity and the possession of an imitation firearm after he, along with 6 men, were arrested at an event in St. Ann on Sunday night. Reports indicate that about 10:25 p.m., the constable from St. Catherine was a patron at an event at a Plantation Cove when he was seen in the company of several men running towards a motorcar with a table. Police personnel approached the men and searched the car. The table was found inside the vehicle. A further search of the constable revealed one black imitation firearm. He, along with the 6 men, were taken into custody. Golding renews call for Bob Marley and Miss Lou to be made national heroes. Opposition leader Mark Golding has reiterated his call for the widening of the list of national heroes to include 2 of the country's most celebrated cultural icons. In his National Heroes Day message, Mr. Golding said, as the country celebrates the heroes who transformed the struggle into triumph and dreams into nationhood, Robert Nesta Marley and Louise Bennett Coverley deserve higher recognition.
I continue to advocate for the expansion of this list of heroic Jamaicans by the addition of Robert Nesta Marley, whose music and message have internationalized Jamaica's culture and brand and provide inspiration to people struggling against oppression across the world. And Louise Bennett Coverley, Miss Lou, whose poetry and performances in the Jamaican language have provided self-affirmation of who we are as a people and uplifted our national confidence and consciousness. As we celebrate the greatness of our heroes, we must also recognize the recent tragic loss of lives through violence and suicide. In the face of these challenges, let us choose empathy over anger, unity over division, and hope over despair.
Prime Minister urges compassion as mental health concerns mount. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called for Jamaica to exercise a greater compassion for each other amid increased concerns surrounding mental health challenges. During his National Heroes Day message, Andrew Holness urged the citizens to extend due regard when it comes to road safety and mental wellness.
As you go about your daily activities this Heroes Day, I encourage you to make safety and security a priority. Be safe on the roads. Avoid activities that could put your safety at risk, and look out for one another, especially for those who might be struggling emotionally or otherwise. I use this opportunity to remind Jamaicans that you are stronger than you know. Who you are and the ideas you have matter. The greatest work lies not in the infrastructure we build, but in our character. It lies in teaching our youth that patriotism is a lifestyle, that to love Jamaica is to serve her with excellence. As we pay tribute to our national heroes, let us also honor the living heroes among us, the teachers who shape mind, the nurses who heal with compassion, the farmers who till the soil, our athletes who give us so much pride, the police and soldiers who keep us safe, and every Jamaican who rises each morning to do an honest day's work.
Bahamians are urged to avoid speedboats leaving Venezuela amid U.S. military action. National Security Minister Wayne Monroe is advising Bahamians to stay out of go-fast boats leaving Venezuela as the United States continues its military buildup as part of its fight against alleged drug traffickers operating out of the South American country. We're not going to be doing what the Americans are doing, but you would do well to stay out of their way, Monroe told the reporters. Last Saturday, the Guyana-based CARICOM Secretariat said that regional leaders met last week to discuss several issues on the regional agenda, including the security buildup in parts of the Caribbean and its potential impact on member states. It said that the position taken at that meeting was not endorsed by the government as the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The meeting follows a series of deadly strikes by the Donald Trump administration targeting suspected drug trafficking vessels off the Venezuelan coast, the latest of which reportedly claimed the lives of 2 Trinidadians. Save in respect of Trinidad and Tobago, which reserved its position, heads agreed on the following. They reaffirmed the principle of maintaining the Caribbean region as a zone of peace and the importance of dialogue and engagement towards the peaceful resolution of disputes and conflict. CARICOM remains willing to assist towards that objective, the CARICOM statement read. Monroe told reporters that while the reality is that it would be impossible to push back against the United States if they determined to, for instance, deploy in international waters between the Bahamas and the U.S., what can we do to restrict them in finding what they say is their national interest? Monroe said he does not see the government being able to restrict the U.S. in the steps that they see necessary to defend their national interest. If they decide to do that, we would have to seek to give our citizens a warning to prevent them from falling victim to perhaps a military strike, he said, adding, in fact, if they were to choose to sail in your harbor, there's nothing you could do. It wouldn't be a breach of your sovereignty, and you could complain, but you couldn't stop them. Monroe said that individuals believed to be taking part in illegal activities should be brought before the courts. Trough lingers across Jamaica. Jamaicans are being advised to brace for continued severe weather conditions as a trough lingers across the island through Tuesday. The Meteorological Service of Jamaica says the system is expected to produce periods of showers and thunderstorms, especially across the southern and the northeastern parishes. At the same time, a strong tropical depression, now moving across the central Caribbean, is entering a favorable environment for tropical cyclone development over the next day or two. Forecasters are monitoring the system closely as it could strengthen into a tropical depression or storm as it moves westward. The public is urged to stay alert for further updates, particularly if the system develops and begins to influence local weather conditions. Fisherfolk and residents in flood-prone areas are being reminded to exercise caution as rainfall could become heavy at times. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.